Welcome back, tribe. We're out here in Bucharest doing a little bit of shopping. There's a topic that I wanted to talk about with you guys. It was kind of on my mind after I had a little bit of a group chat with some of the guys, and it was why I wouldn't start a family in the United States. And on top of the chat, just some recent headlines that make you want to pull your hair out. For example, I mean, we'll get into the safety aspect first. Like, America's become an extremely dangerous place to just raise a family, just dangerous in general. I mean, I have just the front page headlines of today that I was reading for you guys. It's shooting after Lions game leaves one person dead and one in critical condition. So bozos, bread and circuses, shooting each other at football games. Morons. Next, Waffle House employee killed after customer becomes irate. So the dude's waffles weren't good enough. A shitty low chain restaurant, low quality, shoots somebody. Again, insane. Gas station worker accused of beating customer with a bat for taking too much nacho cheese. What the fuck, dude? Only in America is some stupid shit like that possible to even happen. Like, the rest of the world is just functioning completely normally, except for Western Europe. Again, these degenerate places that it seems like being destabilized on purpose. As far as family planning goes, safety is a huge aspect, dude. Like, here in Central Europe, Eastern Europe, whatever you want to call it, geography-wise, I'm in Romania, I don't worry about safety at all. Safety is the last thing on my mind. Let me put my phone in my pocket. The chances of getting shot here are basically zero. The chances of getting stabbed here are basically zero. You would have to be in with some bad company, doing some bad stuff, sticking your nose in somebody's business that you shouldn't have been. In America, you could just go to any place, literally, bro, get a frozen yogurt, get a bubble tea, and there will be homeless people tweaking out next to you. There's gonna be people hanging around corners. There's gonna be a ton of homeless encampments all over the damn place. I mean, look at this. There are no homeless encampments, nothing. Shit's clean. This is the dirtiest thing you'll see here in Bucharest, literally. It's just random graffiti like this. And it doesn't even denote like gangs or anything of that nature, like criminal activity. It's just like punks. It's mostly political stuff that's left over from communist times. But it's clean here, dude. It's safe. Homogenous society. There is no adversarial attitude like we're all different somehow, or dividing ourselves, at least here, in a million different little camps of who is the most oppressed, who's got the most brownie points for being held down, and all this bullshit. It's so stupid that the United States is ripping itself apart. So safety, that's one, and one of the most major ones as a man that you have to be worried about. Number two is the indoctrination in schools, the quality of schools and education, all the way up to even colleges. How fucking nuts is it that you can spend all your hard-earned time, all your energy into raising a family, and then your kid, Adrian, comes home one day and says, "Daddy, my name's Adriana instead. Oh, and by the way, if you don't call me and affirm this, the state can take your kid away." The state, the schools give your kid a questionnaire. If they answer it correctly, if you don't affirm them, it's considered abuse. They have power to take your kid. Only in a wacky-ass world like the United States could that possibly happen. So the indoctrination, the ideologies that are pushed on kids, is another insane thing. It's hard enough in America as a man, just alone. Then you somehow reach the pinnacle of being able to afford a family on the shitty stagnant wages and inflation kicking up, and housing prices have escaped most Americans today. Generations today can't afford to buy a home. So where the hell do you even start a family? If you somehow overcame all of that, you put your hard work into your kid, or two, if you're blessed and healthy enough to have two, only for them to be taken from you with a ridiculous ideology that's being shoved down their throats to appease God knows who, a percentage of the population that doesn't even exist, who are just brainwashing our youth to make them more vulnerable to predators. Okay, great. Then we'll get into the whole cost of living thing. Inflation, stagnant wages. Again, we're paying for all the COVID money printing. Where do you go to buy a house today that could support your family, that is close enough to work, that is affordable. It isn't. Most Americans don't have $400 in their bank accounts for an emergency. Where could you possibly support a family on current American income? The earnings ratio between the cost of living in the United States versus somewhere like Bucharest is insane. For example, I know Romanians here, including my uncle, including others, that make 2,000 euros or more a month. Look around you. 2,000 euros or more a month could get you in this nice place. You can get an apartment here for 400 euros, no problem. With food and everything, when you factor in all those costs, you'll still have money left over. Transportation, really non-existent. You can get by. Public transportation here is less than $1. If you do private transportation like Uber, like I do, private, you could call that private. It's still a couple dollars. I can Uber anywhere for a couple of bucks. When you factor in grocery prices and all this, 2,000 euros a month is more than enough. You could support a family on that. In the United States, dude, how much money do you need to make a month to support a family? Median rent is creeped up above $2,000 and getting more expensive by the day. Transportation, I think for Americans, it's averaging $700 now. The average car note is something like $650, $700 last time I saw the numbers. We're already approaching, plus insurance, plus gas, plus all, you're at $3,000 right there. Where? How much money do you have left after taxes in America? It's insane what has happened to a man's ability to start a family in the United States. It takes a dual income household to even barely make it just by yourselves. We're not factoring in kids. Add a kid, then you have to add in daycare because you're both working. Your woman's income has just been slashed in half from daycare alone. Child rearing is insane in the United States. You cannot get ahead by having a family there. That's not the same thing in other parts of the world. Another thing that just popped in my head, it's going to get loud here by the way, but bear with me. The culture. Because we're in a homogenous society, everybody basically looks like each other. Mass illegal immigration is not a problem. There's no tension socially. There's no destabilization going on. There's a level of brotherhood that's here, camaraderie, because we're all in this together. That's like the feeling. So when you go to these countries, just like the same thing with Japan, dude, it's mostly Japanese. Why do you think they're so orderly? Why do you think they're so safe? Why do you think they don't really have problems? It's because most people are Japanese there. So they have this communal effect to culture. But in the West, in Western Europe, in the United States, that's not the case. Too many migrants are flooding in too quickly. They're not assimilating. They're causing parallel societies to sprout up. Violence has exploded. Previously safe parts of Western Europe, like Sweden, those Nordic countries used to be the safest, are now like rape capitals of Europe. There's grenade attacks, stabbings, automatic machine guns, shit like that. From drug dealing and criminal activities. It's like, what are you doing? You have no plan to assimilate any of these people. Your borders are porous. Same shit's happening in the United States now. How many people are just pouring over the border with absolutely no control? And nobody's doing anything about it. It's just a topic of conversation during the political cycle. And everybody pointing the fingers at each other. Makes for a good divisive topic so you can get voters. Same shit with the gun laws and all the public tragedies, all the shootings that are happening in the United States. Neither side's doing anything about the mental health issue that the United States has. It's not the gun problem. The US has had guns since its inception. There are other nations with just almost the same density of weapons per person. They don't have these issues. You know what it is? It's a mental health crisis. The United States does not care about its citizens. Look at how much paternity or maternity leave you get. Look at how they help you when you try to start a family. Newsflash, they don't. So instead of spending money, instead of sending it overseas and using it on Americans to help them with the mental health crisis, we're just going to blame guns. In the UK, they blame knife attacks, acid attack. It doesn't matter. It's a mental health issue. People will use whatever weapons they want to use to do the bad that they want to do. The issue is we're not addressing mass mental health crisis. It just becomes a topic for, well, vote blue and we'll restrict guns. Both sides benefit. The Democrats want to take your guns away or limit guns. That's not the issue. And the Republicans will keep touting their own assholes, telling you that, oh, we don't want to take your guns away. It's not guns that's the problem. Yes, they may be in the right, but they're not incentivized to fix the mental health issue either, because it's divisive. It means they will have hardline support one way or another. It depends on how you look at it. If you want guns to be restricted, you're going to vote blue. If you don't, you're going to vote red. Why fix the issue when both give you a constituent? It's stupid, man. This system is messed up. And it just seems like in order to escape all this madness, at least in the United States, you have to move somewhere far away to the countryside. Again, no good jobs are in the countryside. And in order to live the countryside in the United States, you need to be wealthy. In order to have a homestead, you need land. Land is not cheap. Depending on where you are, technically, yes, it could be. But the point is, where are you going to get your income? You're running into the same issue. You need to live close to a metropolitan area to make money, which involves sacrificing the safety of your family, your family's future, putting them in degenerate school districts. Then you have to, what do? Homeschool your kids? Okay, well, homeschooling in the United States is expensive as hell. Unless you're going to be the one doing it, you need to hire some tutors. It'd be ideal to have private teachers. Okay, that's much cheaper overseas. Again, so you come back to this whole notion of, is it ideal to start a family in the United States? No, it isn't actually, in the West in general. Coming out here, seeing the culture, seeing the people, seeing the camaraderie, seeing how family-focused, family-forward this society is. Parents matter. Children are abundant everywhere. You see them. If you go to a park, there's nothing but picnics and families. Completely different from the United States. It's not full of tents and full of drug addicts, homeless people, or gangs doing God knows what. That's what my parks look like where I was at. It's insane. You have to live in a gated community to basically escape that. So you're walling yourself off in the United States to escape the reality of the United States. How fucking stupid does that sound? Only in the United States if something like that would happen. So here, man, in Central Eastern Europe, it's far cheaper to start a family. The culture is completely different in terms of how the women are, what they want. They want a man to lead. We talk about this stuff on the channel all the time. Finding a beautiful woman here is not a problem. Everybody knows. Eastern and Central Europe, simple. Traditional feminine qualities are abundant. Nobody is going to fight you over your woman being a stay-at-home wife, taking care of the kids, cooking and cleaning. It's standard, it's normal. It's not seen, it's not looked down upon. There's no femme-centric, gynocentric view of the world here. People understand, because they live in extended families beyond the nuclear family, the importance of family, what a man brings to the table, why a man is important to be present in the family, be there helping the mother raise the kids. There is no strong, independent boss babe mentality. The what do I need a man for? That's so fucking stupid. I can't believe we tricked an entire generation of women to think they don't need men. So dumb. We need each other. Can't tell the bozos that. They're head deep in TikTok brain. They know the latest dance, but don't know how to keep a man longer than a few months. It's insane. So as far as family goes, as far as the culture, as far as the cost of living, as far as the safety, and everything, when you combine all these together, when you've been overseas and seen this for yourself, you start to understand why. So many Americans are saying that the American dream is now leaving America, going overseas to start a family. The United States has lost its touch, man. We put profits over people. Corporate quarterly earnings matter more than family planning. You're a slave, a cog in the machine. You know what they want you to do? Clock into work. You want 9 months paternal leave? Good luck with that, unless you're an executive. The rest of you plebs, be back in work immediately, ASAP, or else we're gonna replace you. Make sure you clock out on time for that lunch break, Ted. We don't want to pay you an extra penny that we have to. Stupid. People here have work-life balance. It's one of the largest things that you'll notice. Time is a little slower here. People move at their own pace. both a good and a bad thing. If you want to make a ton of money, this isn't the ideal place. America reigns supreme. If you want to start a family, if you want work-life balance, America's a shithole for that. That's the reality. Anywhere but America, if we're talking family planning. That's the truth, but you won't see it until you leave. Look at this place. I'm in a, quote, communist shithole, right? That's what they tell you guys. Look at that. I'm gonna go shopping. Maybe get a little coffee too. Well, first, let's check this out. I got some shirts, boys. I'm actually curious. I have not opened these. I'm gonna be wearing them on the stream. Yes. Got some new Make Masculinity Great Again. Multiple colors. Excellent. Dope. Anyways, enough of me rambling on. I gotta go get some shopping done. If you guys appreciated today's topic, let me know in the description below. Thoughts about how it was for you guys when you went overseas, older gentlemen that started families and stuff, even the younger guys just exploring, passing through, passport bro style. Appreciate everybody that's been buying shirts, as well as everybody that's doing the private consultations. We'll see you guys on the private community for the calls. Links are all in the description below as usual. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Signing out. Take care, everybody.